In 2021, I've launched a SaaS application that have failed. And in 2022, I've launched another SaaS application that have failed. And in 2023, the same thing happened to me. But in 2025, I've gone to launch a SaaS application in just 1 month that is now bringing over thousands of users every month. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it so that you can follow the same step if you're a developer and want to develop and launch your own SaaS application online with just $10. Then let's get onto it. So look, this is not that SaaS vlog videos you see out there. This is the real deal I'm going to show you because I've launched a lot of SaaS applications that have failed and I've learned my lessons. And now if I start any SaaS application, I know exactly that it's going to get users because I've learned my lessons to now creating a successful one. And I want to show you exactly how I've did it. So get your notebook, let's get started. Failures are just stepping stones to success. Let's turn your SaaS dreams into reality. Before we dive into anything, let's talk about why SaaS is a game-changing business model today for you as a developer. SaaS is a subscription-based business model where users pay monthly or yearly for access to software. So what SaaS tool does is just provide services. Think of tools like Trello, Notion, Slack. I can even mention a lot of them. There are a lot of SaaS tools out there. Just look at how these tools are just taking off and how much revenue these tools are bringing to those that have created them. So why is SaaS a game-changing business model for you as a developer? So look, with SaaS, you can easily get recurring revenue. So for example, if it's a subscription base, users can simply subscribe monthly for your services. And what you do is that you charge them monthly. You have a guaranteed source of revenue yourself as a developer. And two, you can easily scale your SaaS. You just create it once and sell it forever. Every month, maybe you just go through it, scale it, add new features, and that is all. And third, it is perfect for developers. You don't need to master programming or something to start creating your SaaS application, no. And I'm going to show you how exactly you can create and launch your SaaS software as a junior developer. You don't need to master programming before you start creating and launching your own SaaS application, no. SaaS isn't just a business model, it's a lifestyle of freedom and scalability. Ready to build your empire? Let's go. Phase 1. Validate your idea before you start building. I see a lot of people making this mistake, and I've made that mistake too. When I started creating my SaaS application the first time, I didn't validate my idea. I didn't even know if users like it or not. I just rolled out my laptop and started creating something because I felt inspired to create it. So let me ask you this question. If someone gives you something to use, if you don't like it, do you use it? No, exactly, you don't use it. And that is what you should think. If you are creating something users don't like, users are not going to use. So before you start to create something, you first of all have to validate your idea before you start creating it. You have to make research to make sure that users already want to use the software or the application before you even start to create the application. Take yourself for example. Will you like to use the application yourself? And if it is yes, then you can conduct another research, maybe 3 or 5 people, to see if they would like to use the software before you even start to even create the software. So that you know that, okay, people like my software. Don't go and create something and spend your time on it and people don't even like it. No, don't do that mistake. So how do you validate your idea? So number 1, you have to identify a niche or a user pain point. So a niche is basically a segment of the industry. It can be small business owners, freelancers, software developers. A user pain point is simply a user problem. What the user is facing, that's the user pain points. So you have to first of all get your niche and then look for a user pain point. Don't start by developing an application for everybody. No, don't do that. You have to first of all look for a niche, look for a group of people so that your software could be specific, could be targeting that specific user group. Don't create this application for everybody. Don't do that. I've made that mistake and it really hurt my applications. So look for a niche, look for a segment of the industry and try to focus on that segment and don't try to design for everybody. No. And step 2, you have to engage with potential users. You can go on to Facebook groups, TikTok. Now there are a lot of platforms out there. You can get your specific group of people there and try to engage with them. Just go onto groups they hang around with. Maybe you can ask for their pain point or something like that. The goal is just trying to understand what the user wants before you even start to create it. If you understand what users want and then you create it, that is all. If you solve the user problems, and users will always come to your software or your application. Maybe you can ask a question like, what is your biggest challenge? Will you pay for a tool that solves this your issue or this your problem? Ask questions like that on groups and watch people respond to you. And once people respond, you can quickly go to start creating your SaaS application. Phase 2 is to start development immediately. I've made this mistake. I've spent like weeks thinking over what to develop and something like that and trying to validate my idea. Don't do that. Don't spend weeks. At least 1 week is okay. You can use 1 week to validate any idea out there, but don't spend more than 1 week trying to validate that idea. If you do that, analysis paralysis is going to kick in. And analysis paralysis is when you overthink something and you end up not even taking action at all. So just take action. 1 week is okay. 1 week, validate your idea and just take your action and go. And here are some key features you need to consider in your development phase. So number 1, you need to begin with the critical features. So critical features are features that if they are not in the application cannot work. The application is just useless. For example, if I'm creating a note-taking app, the most important feature in the application is just to have a text editor so that users can just write their note, right? And that is the most critical feature there, right? And that is where I'm going to start. So start with the most critical features. Start with features that if they are not there, your application will not work. Maybe your sign-up page, your login page, and maybe the note page, your dashboard, your user profiles, those that will make the application work. So look, you can always broaden the application. You can add new features, but if you are starting up, don't overthink the process. Don't overthink the whole pages. So maybe if the user is visiting the application, you want the user maybe in 3 steps or maybe in 4 steps, the user already gotten their solution and they are gone. Don't just put a lot of pages out there, use a lot of useless pages. No, just make, even if there's 3 or 4 pages and the user gets the problem done, that is okay. And next is your onboarding. Your onboarding is very important. Your onboarding is simply the few pages you show after a sign up so that the user will understand your application. You have to spend your time on your onboarding pages. I've made this mistake and it hurt me a lot. So look, when you are creating your onboarding pages, you want to make sure that those pages build trust with the user. You want the user to understand what the user have signed for and also build trust. These two are very important. The user understanding the application and also building trust with the users. So just you can have maybe 2 onboarding pages. So the first onboarding page is simply introducing the application to the user, and the second onboarding page is simply building a trust with the user. You want the user to trust your application before the user even start to use the application. So next is your user experience. So look, when you are creating an application, you are not creating the application for yourself. No, you are not doing that. You are creating the application for someone. So when you are thinking, you should think like the person. You don't need to be thinking like yourself when you are creating an application. I've did this and it hurt me a lot. Look, designers often have biases. We have biases, and biases are just having maybe prejudice over something. When you are creating something, maybe you've put this button or you have designed this page. Maybe that's how you like the page. Don't look at how you like the page. Look at how users are going to react with the page, how users are going to use the page, and don't look at how you are going to use the page. Because look, you're not creating the application for yourself, you are creating the application for users, for a specific group of people. Look at how they are going to perceive that application, that design. And if they don't like it, just change it. Don't say that, okay, I like it and I'm going to go with it. Don't make that mistake. You are not creating the application for yourself. Make sure that users like it. That's why you need to be empathetic. And empathy simply means putting yourself in the shoes of your users. You want to put yourself in the shoes of your end users. Go like, okay, if I was this user, I like this page. Will I like to use this page, or will I like this button to be this color or something like that? And if I like it as that user, then I'm going to use it. And if those users are going to hate it, just remove it and keep your design simple. I've seen a lot of design trends out there, neomorphism, glamorphisms, and a lot of design trend out there, and people are just trying to create like sophisticated designs. They will create a lot of animations in their web pages. No, don't make that mistake. Look, I've got a lot of compliments regarding my designs. People always say that my designs are always simple, and I like to keep it that way. I like my designs to be simple. Even if it's one button I'm going to put there and maybe a heading and then a subtitle, I'm going to do that rather than just building a sophisticated web page. No, don't overthink the process. Just make it simple. Don't go out there and look at a lot of companies. In these days, a lot of companies have been creating these animations and a lot of these things. No, don't do that. Just make your design simple. Just make it straightforward. If a user visits the page, this is what the user is supposed to see. And if this is not important, just take it off. If this image is not important, just take it off. And if the image is important, put it there and put your button, and that is all. In phase 3, you have to leverage AI. So look, in today's moving tech landscape, AI isn't an option. you have to just put it in your applications. You may ask why I said maybe building a business with $10. And this is where the $10 really comes in handy. So use $10 to register for ChatGPT AI and incorporate the API in your application. So look, you don't need to go full learning and try to master AI and try to create a complicated AI or something like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. You can use ChatGPT, incorporate in your application, maybe use it as a customer support bot or something like that. Just try to put AI in your application because it will make your application more engaging. So just spend at least $10 on ChatGPT. Just go to ChatGPT, spend your $10, get the API, and they'll show you how to exactly put it in your application. It's just simple. Just go sign up, get the API, get the API key, then you can just put it in your application. Then you can just kickstart the AI. Just incorporate it in your application, but make sure to put AI in your application. So next, try to release your first version in 1 month. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Your goal isn't to build a perfect app, it's to build a functional one that solves a real problem. So look, 1 month is okay for every application you are building out there. So at first, don't try to build a very huge or a very complex application. No, just start with a simple application, an application that will just solve a user problem. There are a lot of simple applications out there. Maybe a PDF converter, you just go and users just convert the PDF and that is all, or something like that. Just try to create just a simple application. Don't try to create a very huge application. Just start with an application that solves a user problem within maybe 5 minutes, or 5 minutes is too long, maybe 2 minutes the user have his problem solved and that is all. Just start with those kind of application, an application that will just solve a user problem within 2 minutes and the user is gone. And maybe you can scale up later. And make sure your first prototype is out in just a month. Don't spend more than 1 month trying to create the application. No. So once your SaaS is ready in a month, so now your SaaS is ready, you want to get your first few clients. Let's talk about how to go about and get your first few clients. So first, try to test use it with a smaller group of people. Just maybe your friends, or maybe if you're in a group, try to test it with a smaller group of people, maybe 5 people, to just test it before you validate and go full blown into it. Don't go and release an application with a lot of bugs out there. Try to test it before you get the application out there for users to try to even use it. You can go to Product Hunt to get early users to use and test the application. Just visit Product Hunt and put your application there. I've used Product Hunt for my application. Just go to Product Hunt, sign up, and then you can submit your application, get early users there to test your application and give you feedback. And once people are using it, people are going to give you feedback. Listen to those feedbacks and try to refine the product to match the user's need. Like I've said before, you're not creating the application for yourself. You're creating it for users. So every feedback is very important. Look at users' feedback, what users are saying, and trying to refine the product to match the user's need. And next, don't expect massive numbers. Don't try to launch your application and try to get even 200 or even 500 users in just 1 month. No, that's not how it happens. Even if it is 50 or 30 people, that is okay, because you are just starting out and you are trying to validate the application. It's just your initial state. This is just the initial state. You are testing to make sure that users love the application before you even invest much time on the application. So look, SaaS is all about iteration. Your first version might not look great, but if you keep on iterating and keep on making changes based on users' feedback, you eventually get the perfect application out there. And as always, let's build something great together.